People often dismiss UFOs as crazy conspiracy theories, but what happens when they're faced with clear evidence that we're not alone in this universe? From flying saucers disappearing in an instant to police helicopters chasing alien objects, here are 60 of the clearest UFO sightings that prove they're real. On January 1st, 2025, people in the Canary Islands were still recovering from the previous night's festivities, but what they ended up seeing in the sky was not the New Year's sun. It was something else.
Zobaczyłem drona w końcu, chciałem. Nie mam kurwa zielonego pojęcia.
Several people spotted a strange black sphere careening through the sky, almost like an aircraft. It was too quick to be a balloon, and the strong winds didn't seem to affect it either.
To teraz dużo wyżej.
In June 2025, a bizarre-looking bird appeared in the sky out of nowhere and left people confused because its wings didn't move at all. As they looked closer, however, they realized this thing wasn't a bird at all. The boomerang-shaped UAP resembled those seen earlier over a military base in Palm Springs. In fact, similar shapes were reported flying over Texas in the 60s as well.
Imagine that.
In March 2025, a flying saucer was spotted hovering in the skies above Stuttgart, Germany. The object was stationary at a high altitude, with no gravity or wind affecting it. But, just as people started to think it could be a drone, the thing flew up into the clouds. Experts think a UFO's spinning motion gives it the ability to move, and this example from Green Valley, Illinois, could be our clearest look yet.
What the is that?
While it looks like a spinning boomerang, many think these are lights bordering a saucer-like UAP, spinning at incredible speeds and maintaining flight.
Another star in the sky. It ain't a star. And it's moving. What the fuck?
One UFO is already a scary proposition, but what the people of Phoenix, Arizona, witnessed on December 20th, 2024, was beyond any human comprehension.
What are those? They are not moving.
A string of lights dominated the skyline, a phenomenon that was last observed by a man in 1997 at the same location, which could only mean one thing: these weren't drones. In 2020, folks in New Jersey had one of the closest encounters with what was, undoubtedly, a UFO. Tons of people stopped by the road to record it, and the object, with its flashing lights, didn't disappoint.
Yo, look at that. Look at everybody in the highway right now. I don't know, bro. Ni idea. A mí no se mueve de ahí.
We've seen UFOs hovering in the sky, but what happens when one of these objects actually descends to the ground? Several people witnessed this phenomenon in Colombia, with the object falling in a field at the end of its flight. The sphere was eventually taken for study. This video was filmed by a worker at a construction site because at night he witnessed something that had no plausible explanation. An elongated object, emitting light and slowly flying through the sky behind the mountains.
¿Ah? Ahí mira el cielo. Ah, no, yo.
The following footage originates from Dallas, Texas, where residents were awoken to a nightmare sight in the sky, a green light. But this wasn't even the worst bit because, as they looked through their telescope, the visuals got much creepier.
I got it. Oh, what is that?
Ew. Ew, what in the world?
This is a telescope, and I don't know what this looks like bacteria or something.
Ew. Ew. That's so gross.
Oh wow, you got it.
Wait, hold on. Can I get it?
I don't know, y'all. This is kind of creepy.
Can I get it? Why?
Very creepy.
People noticing strange UFOs in the sky is one thing, but what happens when someone at the International Space Station sees one? Well, that's exactly what unfolded on June 24th, 2025, and it left everyone utterly confused.
Órale. ¿Qué es eso tú? Vean. ¿Esta es la Tierra?
Flying above the horizon was a fiery winged object, almost like a phoenix rising from the ashes. But this wasn't a bird in space. No, this had to be an alien spaceship.
Definitivamente tiene un motor abajo. ¿Lo ven, el motor?
In 2017, a man was enjoying his vacation on a Sicilian beach when he saw something rise from the sand. The object was shaped like a saucer, and he couldn't believe his eyes. But what happened next made him question his reality. On January 16th, 2025, a couple in Portland, Oregon, were standing outside their house when they noticed something in the sky. A balloon-like object casually flying across the cloudy sky.
Why? Oh, look, it's not even catching it. Oh, there it is.
What
so
is
if
that?
I was to back you up and you were to back me up, listen, yeah, he doesn't know what he's talking about.
Listen, it's so cloudy. I just don't think that a UFO.
They questioned whether the object was a UFO because it was floating in broad daylight for everyone to see. However, its movement patterns were unlike anything they'd seen.
Just cause.
Oh, look, it's not even catching it. Oh, there it is. There it is. What
so
is
if
that?
I was to back you up and you were to back me up, listen, yeah, he doesn't know what he's talking about.
Listen, it's so cloudy. I just don't think that a UFO would just like fly right there where everybody.
A thunderstorm at night is already an ominous sight, but what this man witnessed in Mexico made things 10 times spookier. A bizarre array of lights hovered in the distance, and with the weather conditions, these were certainly not drones. But was this an actual UFO? Well, a flash of light revealed everything. How would you react if you saw something moving on the moon itself? Well, this man decided to record it. The man was trying to capture zoom shots of the moon, but then he noticed a shadow. He knew something was amiss, so he zoomed in further, and what he saw left him terrified. In Mexico, a man had a bizarre experience while trying to capture the night sky on his camera.
Es como una puta nave, ¿no? Sí, es como una nave. Y ya está como inclinada. Estaba como así, yo veo. Ahorita bajada, Arturo, ¿no? Estaba más arriba.
A distant light in the sky quickly turned into a flying saucer, but the strangest thing was that this thing didn't move at all.
Y está bajando, ¿no? Como a la altura del poste, pero acá. Acá el poste, pero acá. No manches. Yo me voy. No, si no te pases de lanza.
Se prendió las luces laterales, ¿verdad?
Sí.
A balloon in the sky could be faked on video. But what this driver recorded in September 2024 while driving through the lush green hills of Brazil might be the most undeniable proof that UFOs are real. The following footage comes from Poland, where people spotted a spherical object flying amidst a brewing storm. At first, they thought it was a balloon, but upon zooming in, they realized it was something else entirely. The spherical object seemed metallic and smooth, staying suspended in the air despite the storm. In the early hours of the morning on June 28, 2025, residents of Los Angeles witnessed a strange formation in the skies, which, according to many, had to be UFOs. Unlike other UAPs, however, this wasn't a single object flying around. No, these things looked like a swarm of drones and had no set pattern to their movements. Most people assume it's a meteor or an aircraft when they see a trail of light flying through the sky. But this particular incident in Puerto Rico was a little different.
Mira eso en el cielo, ¿qué carajo es? Ahora mismo estoy haciendo el techo de mi casa. Increíblemente aquí en Puerto Rico estamos observando eso. Yo no sé qué diablo es eso, pero Dios nos guarde, Dios nos proteja. Ah, puñeta, esto es en vivo, mi gente, eso no es embuste, esto no es feca, es algo en el cielo, mi hermano. ¿Qué verga es eso?
Unlike most aircraft, this object didn't seem to fly in a straight line. If anything, it seemed as if it was suspended mid-air while leaving a trail behind it.
¿Tú vienes que explota esa vaina? Ay, Dios, no sé. Mira esta mierda. Eso no es feca, mi gente, eso no es inventado, aquí no hay Photoshop ni computadora, esto en vivo. La pregunta es, ¿qué carajo es eso? ¿Un cohete de Starlink o algo? No sé.
Most UFO videos are either taken from too far or they're shaky, but this man captured one of the clearest sightings of an alien aircraft and made a massive breakthrough. The metallic ball is soaring through the sky. However, while the initial look could have discarded it as something normal, the object's next move solidified it as a UFO.
Oof.
We've seen metallic balls, flying saucers, and even light formations, but this UFO sighting from Texas is unlike any other because this thing actually seems to have rocket thrusters. The orange object changes direction at a whim, like it's being controlled, and since it's too small to be an actual jet plane, there's more to it than meets the eye. On April 25th, 2025, a man was looking at the starry sky outside his house when suddenly things started shifting, so much so that he thought he was hallucinating. The objects he thought were stars started moving out of nowhere, and now he didn't know what to believe anymore. Speaking of unusual UAPs, this one is even more puzzling because it's a cylindrical tic-tac aircraft, and the way it moves through the air is very unexpected. The object doesn't have any thrusters propelling it, and it moves without any rhyme or reason. In the Canary Islands, residents were gathered on their rooftops to see the incredible blood moon. But that wasn't the only unusual thing about that night sky.
Okay, that's weird. Can you film it too?
I can't, it doesn't get any detail.
That's weird.
It's moving though.
A bizarre, slender object obstructed the view as it moved from left to right in front of the massive moon.
It is going from left to right. Yeah, but to be that long, that's exceptionally weird. Someone must. It's got to be some balloons.
Yeah, but it's like so specifically
wrong.
In March 2025, a man was letting the dogs out at his ranch in Colorado when he noticed a light moving from north to west. Initially, he thought it was a plane, but when he checked Plane Finder and found nothing, he had to record it. The following footage comes from Germany, where people spotted a strange object soaring across the sky. However, unlike a balloon or a drone, this object carried a lot of speed while also spinning and changing direction, which could only mean one thing: it was a UFO. The video starts with a family capturing a fiery orb in the sky, thinking it could be a flight show. But the situation changes quickly when they realize this is something else. The object turns from a faint orange light to a full flaming formation, almost as if it's a group of meteors, but it's the change of direction that seals it as a UFO. In Portugal, a bright light soars through the sky in the distance. However, when the person recording zooms in, they realize there might be more to it than meets the eye, because it's not just a light. Most people wouldn't bother making a video of the moon when it's visible during the day. However, this man decided to do it anyway, and what he discovered left him questioning his reality. On February 14th, 2025, an Oklahoma news channel was running its 9 p.m. weather segment when keen-eyed viewers and the host noticed something strange amongst the clouds. But while it's normal to see airplanes or even drones on news footage, this thing didn't move like it belonged here.
Snow, in addition to all of that, Start out outside today where it was actually a warmer day than we've been seeing and one of the warmest that we're going to have on the entire 7-day forecast moving forward. Wonder what that is right there. That's pretty interesting. Moving really fast. Okay, let's go ahead and take a look at what we've got here. Just interesting stuff flying around the sky. There's the live view from our 50-pen camera looking off to the north.
This Sacramento couple was sitting in their backyard, soaking in the sun and looking at the clean blue skies, when they realized the sky wasn't actually as clear as they'd initially thought.
Look at this.
What? What is that?
A rogue white object was floating in the distance, slowly making its way across the sky, almost as if it had a mind of its own.
Dude, look at it.
Most people would go out to look if they heard a helicopter flying above their house, and that's what this woman did as well. What she didn't expect, however, was one helicopter chasing two unidentified orbs through the night sky. You can refute a white balloon-like object, or something that resembles a drone, but what these folks saw in Germany was not only different in appearance, but it was also strangely ominous.
Das ist ein UFO, Digga.
Ich hab echt, nee, das vor allem gerade
Was ist
war
das?
kein Licht mehr da und dann jetzt doch. So, voll dieses rote Licht.
Ey, ich film das lieber, oder?
Digga.
Hä? Ich film's lieber, oder?
Ja, film's mal, vielleicht ist es ja was. Oh Mann, du kennst auf jeden Fall.
Was ist das?
A bright red light slowly faded in and out, moving away from the camera. This was just the beginning, though, because what it did next removed all doubts that this wasn't a drone.
Sieht mies komisch aus. Das leuchtet halt. Was?
Das lässt so Sachen fallen.
Was? Was ist das? Was?
Jetzt ist es weg.
Nee, es ist
noch ganz da. Ja, noch ganz bisschen.
In Denver, Colorado, a man sees a hazy figure in the sky and zooms in, only to realize he's looking at a flying saucer. What happens next, however, leaves him shocked.
There it is, the light turned on. You see that? What the man? Watch, it's gonna start looking like it's dropping something out of it.
The UFO emits a bright green light and appears to drop something out of it. But could this actually be the first captured case of a UFO abduction?
What the is it, bro? Oh, the light went out. The light went out again.
Speaking of strange objects in the sky, these folks were driving through southern Italy when they spotted a red orb in the distance that looked oddly out of place. The light was not only suspended in mid-air, but it also had a strange field around it that distorted the video. The following footage comes from Vietnam, where a man saw a breathing light float across the sky right in front of his eyes. The object didn't just float, however, it moved with purpose and even had sudden changes of direction. Seeing a distant moving light in the sky might seem bad until you see what these folks in Uruguay witnessed, because this could be, arguably, our closest encounter yet.
No existe dron de ese tamaño. Miren cómo hace las luces. Se ve bastante cerca.
It's a flying saucer, not unlike many others we've seen before, except that not only is it dangerously close, but it also seems to be sending a message.
Y lo trae el zoom para que vean a la distancia que está el objeto, ¿no? Buen acercamiento. Impresionante registro ovni. Suspendido, estático, sin movimiento alguno. Muy buen registro, ¿eh?
Imagine driving through the wilderness, looking at majestic snow-capped mountains, only to realize that these hills harbor something much more sinister. Well, that's exactly what happened to these people.
Una esfera.
¿La acercaste? Pero de aquí.
Aquí la estoy viendo.
Wow, ahorita no le enseño.
¿Qué onda?
Behind the clouds, they spotted a shiny metallic disc right on top of the mountain, almost as if a UFO had landed there.
Una esfera, mira.
Ay,
ya se escondió.
No fue la nube. Síguele viendo, Leti. Por si cuando se quita la nube todavía.
In January 2025, a man was standing on top of a parking garage when he spotted a strange orb in the distance. But it was when it started moving that he had to record it.
Here, I can't see it now. This is a joke, right? Hold on. There it is, there it is, there it is, there it is. Alright, we're gonna watch it. Holy crap, I knew it! We're gonna get something, guys. Alright, let's watch it.
A spherical object was just floating near a building, constantly emitting light, as if it was sending a signal. It didn't look like a drone or a balloon either, so what could it have been?
What is it? Just get a good video of it. It makes his mind doesn't work.
It could be a personal drone, right? Or no?
I don't know. Bro, look! Come here! Look, bro!
I'm actually so drunk. The looks so.
You see, I wasn't lying to you.
This footage was captured near a nuclear power plant in Japan, where people witnessed one of the most bizarre and eerie sights they'd ever seen. Several orbs flew just above the plant, moving in strange formations and emitting light, just like all the other UAPs. But the question was, why were these things here? People recording UFOs from the ground is one thing, but this footage was actually shot by a commercial airline pilot who had no idea what was flying right outside his window.
American 2424, check in, 11 kilometer, good evening, climb maintain, level 370.
The object looked a lot like other UFO sightings, emitting a similar blinking light and flying at an incredibly high altitude. What happened next, however, was even more alarming. In June 2025, a man was sitting in a parking lot with his girlfriend in Rockford, Illinois, when he noticed an odd balloon in the sky. After observing it for a few seconds, however, he realized this thing wasn't a balloon at all. It was a black cube. The following footage from China shows one of our closest looks at a flying saucer, because not only is it hovering at a remarkably low altitude, but it's also very close to the buildings. That's not all, though. This UFO has a trick up its sleeve. Flying saucers and metallic orbs are scary prospects, but nothing comes close to what this man saw hovering in the sky. The object was translucent, emitting blue light, and the way it moved made it seem like someone was controlling it. Its next move, however, was very unexpected.
Coming out of the water. Yo, this thing is creepy, man. What the hell?
Seeing one orb in the sky is one thing, but this woman in Georgia made a bone-chilling discovery when she spotted an entire constellation of UFOs hiding behind the fog. As for their purpose, it remains a mystery.
The alien invasion, y'all.
There's no alien invasion.
Yes, it is an alien invasion. What is it? Look at them. They moving in circles at the top. See, the formation on the right, and then they got another formation in the middle, and another formation on the left.
Mm-hmm. Aliens, who is this? They don't live with us.
Let me see.
In December 2024, a plane passenger was trying to record the clouds outside his window above Chicago when he started noticing strange phenomena all around him. Several yellow orbs were floating above the sky, and they weren't other aircraft or drones. The strangest thing, however, was when the plane started to descend because the orbs didn't go away. Speaking of orbs in the sky, this man witnessed one right above his house in Kingsville, Maryland, at about 10 p.m. The thing about this one, though, was that it was brighter than most other sightings.
Where are we going, guys?
Like a star, the orb maintained its position in the sky, not even letting the wind move it across. It seemed like whatever this thing was, it defied physics. The following footage was shot near Langley Air Force Base in Virginia, where people spotted a flying saucer shrouding itself in darkness. From a distance, it looked like a bunch of lights, but upon zooming in, it became clear that this thing was a UFO, and it was hovering above the base for a reason. In January 2025, a Canadian man was sitting with his family in his backyard when he noticed a light moving across the sky. As soon as it started changing direction, however, he knew he had to record it. This video comes from Arizona, where a resident heard a helicopter above his house and started recording it. Little did he know, however, that there was another flying object in the sky.
Yo, that is a orb. That's an orb being chased by a helicopter. What the?
Turns out the helicopter wasn't just doing rounds of the city at night, it was actually chasing another object.
Being followed by a helicopter. What the? I just now pulled up. Smells like something's burning. That is nuts.
A person's recording of a UFO could be debunked, but what happens when these objects are captured by the authorities themselves? This video was recorded by the police in South Wales, and even they were left confused as to what its nature was. Driving through the hills and taking in the views sounds like an absolute dream, but what this man saw outside his window in 2020 made him a believer in extraterrestrial beings because he wasn't alone on this road trip. In March 2025, a family in Argentina woke up in the middle of the night to an abnormally bright light coming from the forest. There was one small issue though. There were no light sources in the woods.
A ver. ¿A dónde? ¿A dónde? Ay, lo vi. No.
Ellos no son los que pasan volando. No. Ahí se pararon de nuevo la concha de su madre, boludo.
Allá quedó uno. ¿Lo ves?
No, hay varios. No, ahí se fue, mirá.
Nos están siguiendo. Vámonos.
Ey, nos están siguiendo en serio.
In November 2024, an Air Force veteran, Dennis Diggins, snapped 4 eerie lights hovering and shifting formations above the Capitol dome and sparked some crazy theories. The sighting happened weeks after Congress held hearings on alleged alien spacecraft programs. So, was this just a coincidence, or does this plot go deeper than we realize? What would you do if you spotted UFOs soaring through the sky above you? Well, this man thought he was actually communicating with them. In fact, he claimed these objects moved and communicated with each other, no matter how far apart they got.
So she's heading east, northeast, more east. Look, just took off. And it's 3 right now, always. And you see, they just waited till it got there for them to move. Perfect. And brighten up for me. Yeah. Thank you. See, you don't think this is not communicating with me, you are wrong.
In August 2023, some friends were camping in northern Colorado when they saw a strange orb floating across the sky without any visible propulsion or sound.
Nah, it's way too slow. No, the plane is underneath. That's a plane. That is something different.
Dude, look at the plane versus this thing on the camera. Like, what the fuck is that?
We're over here, come abduct us here.
No, it's way.
The orb was distant, but they could measure its scale thanks to a plane that flew under it. The most bizarre thing, however, was the halo around it.
Oh my god.
What the fuck is that though?
It's just like floating now. What the dude, it's like it's so much, but you can still tell there's like an extra orb of light around it.
I feel like it's gotta be a UFO.
Yeah, dude, we literally did just see a UFO.
we all
Dude, it looks like a cloud. Yeah. It looks like a little.
Speaking of orbs, this couple spotted them hovering over the IAH airport in Houston. And much like other sightings, these objects also continued their trajectory without any resistance.
Yeah. Oh, there's more over there. Oh, look, more. Look. See that one blinking over there?
Oh, at the bottom?
Yeah, it disappears. Those are not planes. They're like kind of...
The LA fires in January 2025 were absolutely devastating for many, but amongst those flames, people found some very strange things, like this object.
What about something strange in the sky? It's above the fire right now in Santa Monica.
It's a kite.
It's a kite?
Yeah, it's a kite. I can see by its shape. It's a kite.
There's the fire.
The UAP was flying in restricted airspace near the LA fires, and it didn't seem like a rescue aircraft or a drone either. So what was it?
Whatever it is, they may... Oh, yeah, that's a kite.
It's not a kite. Kites are not gonna just fly away. It's moving.
Not all UFOs are elusive, though. For instance, on March 2nd, 2025, a man in Colombia was recording a metallic orb when it struck a high-voltage power line and crashed.
Su apellido porque pues no podemos hacerlo ya que no tenemos autorización de ella, pero María vive en las casas que quedan en las últimas cuadras del barrio y esas casas quedan lindando con algo que se llama un potrero. Entonces ella sale de su casa al potrero, se escuchan los niños. Desde la casa se escucha porque en ese potrero es donde ella bota las cáscaras.
They quickly got hold of the object and after analyzing, realized it had a high-precision microsphere component structure, which could only mean one thing. This thing was alien.
Al ver esta esfera y ver que la esfera se extraña. Cuando la esfera se va hacia la montaña, empieza a alumbrar de colores. Alumbrar de colores, ya dice mismo, yo mismo dice en el audio, esta esfera está alumbrando. Dice, mire cómo alumbra. Y agarra a toda velocidad y se va para donde José está. Se devuelve donde José...